You might not be expecting this, but what I am about to reveal could completely transform how you view your spiritual journey. Have you ever stopped to consider the true power of silence? Not just the absence of sound or a momentary pause between words, but silence as a sacred tool, a sanctuary, and a divine connection that holds the key to your spiritual transformation. As a chosen one, you are called not only to live a life of purpose, but also to recognize the deep significance of silence in your path. It is not an empty void, nor is it simply the absence of noise. Silence is a profound space where real change can take place, where your soul can be purified, and where the whispers of the divine are heard more clearly. In the Bible, we're often reminded of the importance of stillness and silence. Consider the moment when God spoke to Elijah, not in the mighty wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in a gentle whisper. Kings 19:11-12. This is not a coincidence. The silence that followed Elijah's trials was not a moment of absence, but a time of sacred revelation, a space where God's presence was felt most strongly. Could it be that in the silence of your own life, in the moments where you feel like nothing is happening, God is actually speaking to you in ways you might not yet understand? Could the answers you've been seeking about your purpose, your direction, your calling, be hidden in the stillness, waiting for you to recognize them? When you are in silence, you enter a space where your mind and soul can become attuned to the divine rhythm of the universe. How often do we rush through life, filling every moment with noise, whether it be the distractions of the world or the constant barrage of thoughts in our own heads? But what if I told you that in those quiet moments, in the absence of all distractions, God is closest to you? The Bible tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. This isn't just a call to pause. It's an invitation to deeply connect with the Creator in a way that words alone cannot express. The act of being still opens the door for spiritual insight and peace that you might otherwise miss. Now, I ask you, have you ever been in a place of utter stillness and felt an inner peace that you couldn't quite explain? Have you noticed how, in those moments, you sometimes gain clarity on the struggles you've been facing? Silence is not simply the absence of noise. It's a sacred presence, one that can illuminate your path and reveal truths hidden deep within your heart. The question I pose to you today is, are you ready to embrace the power of silence? Could it be that in your own silence, the key to your divine purpose is already waiting to be unlocked? Stay with me, because this journey into silence will not only change your view of your own spiritual path, but will also connect you more deeply with the divine presence that has always been with you. The answers you've been searching for are closer than you think. Are you ready to listen? Chosen ones, keep what comes next. Too often we feel an urge to share everything, our discoveries, accomplishments, and even our inner thoughts. The world tempts us to display our spiritual milestones as if broadcasting them validates their worth. But what if I told you that your greatest growth happens in the hidden places, where no applause or validation is needed? Consider the words of Ecclesiastes 3:7. A time to tear apart and a time to sew together, a time to be silent and a time to speak. Could this be your time to embrace silence? One of the most transformative spiritual practices for a chosen one is conscious silence, the intentional act of refraining from speech while fully present in the moment. Why is this practice so potent? In our modern world, filled with endless noise, social media updates, YouTube commentaries, and the constant buzz of opinions, many of us feel compelled to talk incessantly, especially about ourselves. Whether it's expressing preferences, sharing emotions, or airing opinions, this endless chatter often reflects a restless mind seeking validation and identity. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you feel the need to speak, even when no one is listening? Spiritually speaking, all things are energy. When we talk excessively about ourselves, we are often unknowingly trying to draw energy from others, as if their attention confirms our existence and significance. This behavior is an unconscious attempt to fill an inner void. But what if I told you that this energy you seek externally is already within you, waiting to be harnessed through silence? Proverbs 17:28 reminds us, "Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue." Could your journey to wisdom and spiritual power begin by holding your tongue? Picture this. You are entrusted with a sacred secret, a truth so powerful it has the potential to change your life. This truth is like a delicate flame, flickering with potential, yet vulnerable to the winds of the world. If you speak too soon, if you expose this sacred truth to the noise around you, the flame risks being extinguished. But when you guard it with silence, you allow it to grow stronger, brighter, and eventually capable of illuminating not just your life, but also the lives of those around you. Are you willing to protect this flame within you until it shines at its fullest? Choosing silence is not about muting your voice, but about creating a holy space where your soul can breathe. In this sacred stillness, you will hear the whispers of your heart, the divine compass that knows your true purpose. How often do we miss these whispers because we're too preoccupied with speaking or listening to the world's clamor? The Bible speaks of Jesus withdrawing to lonely places to pray, Luke 5:16. Have you considered creating your own lonely place where you can commune with God and nurture your inner garden? Now, reflect on the people around you. How many love to dominate conversations, to be the center of attention, or to force their opinions upon others? Perhaps you've found yourself caught in these dynamics, either as the speaker or the listener. This constant exchange of words often becomes a silent struggle for power, energy being pulled back and forth without anyone truly listening or gaining clarity. What would happen if instead you chose silence as your response? Could you reclaim your energy and redirect it towards something far more meaningful? This is why conscious silence is a cornerstone of spiritual awakening for the chosen ones. Spiritual masters throughout history have emphasized silence as a gateway to wisdom, peace, and divine connection. In the quiet, we can finally hear the voice of God above the noise of the world. It is like stepping into a secret garden, a sanctuary where no one else can enter. In this garden, you can cultivate seeds of wisdom, faith, and inner strength. Jesus himself said in Matthew 6:6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." What rewards might be waiting for you in the secret garden of silence? Silencing yourself is far more profound than simply keeping quiet. It is the sacred act of nurturing your inner world and allowing it to flourish. Think of it as tending to a hidden garden, a secret sanctuary that only you can access. In this sacred space, free from the distractions and judgments of the outside world, you uncover clarity, peace, and the wisdom needed to discern your path. By choosing to protect this space, you safeguard your spiritual growth, shielding it from external forces that might distort or weaken your journey. Have you ever wondered what treasures lie within this hidden garden, waiting for you to discover them? The benefits of embracing silence as a spiritual practice are immense. To begin with, silence helps you conserve your vital energy. In a world where words flow endlessly, whether through conversations, debates, or social media, how often do you feel drained by the need to respond, explain, or defend? For those accustomed to speaking often or seeking external validation, silence may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. You may find yourself tempted to interrupt, correct, or critique others, but could this discomfort be an invitation to a deeper transformation? Silence requires discipline, patience, and persistence, but its rewards are unparalleled. Over time, you'll notice a remarkable shift. The constant desire to speak begins to fade, replaced by a profound sense of calm and vitality. Why does this happen? When you choose silence, you stop wasting energy on unnecessary conversations, judgments, and comparisons. This conserved energy doesn't disappear. It becomes available to fuel other, more meaningful aspects of your life. Have you ever paused to consider where this energy might lead you if it were directed toward your spiritual growth? In the book of Proverbs, we are reminded, "The prudent hold their tongues." Proverbs 10:19. This wisdom speaks to the power of silence, not as a retreat, but as a deliberate choice to channel your energy wisely. As you embrace this practice, you'll find that your ability to observe and understand others deepens. Instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to notice the subtle behaviors, intentions, and motivations of those around you. Words can be deceiving, but the energy people project never lies. Have you ever felt that someone's words didn't match their true feelings? Through silence, you develop the sensitivity to discern these hidden truths. As this awareness grows, so does your presence. Silence, paradoxically, amplifies your influence. When you speak less, the weight of your words increases. People begin to notice something different about you, a quiet strength and unshakable serenity that commands attention without effort. This is the power of conscious silence. It is not just the absence of sound, but the presence of wisdom and purpose. How might your life change if people were drawn to your energy, not your words? More than just an outward shift, silence deepens your connection to your true self and your divine purpose. By redirecting your energy inward, you move closer to fulfilling the calling you carry as a chosen one. Consider the example of Jesus, who often withdrew to quiet places to pray and reconnect with his Father. Luke 5:16. What if your silence too became a channel for divine guidance and strength? When you embrace silence, you let go of the need to assert yourself, to prove your worth, or to control how others perceive you. Instead, you direct your energy toward higher purposes, serving others, cultivating inner peace, and manifesting good in the world. This practice transforms not only your spiritual journey, but also the lives of those around you. Could it be that by choosing silence, you unlock a power within you that has been waiting to be revealed all along? Silence plays a role far greater than we often acknowledge. It becomes a shield, guarding the sanctity of your personal and spiritual experiences. By choosing to keep certain things to yourself, you preserve the purity and power of these moments. Much like a collector carefully safeguards their most treasured pieces, protecting them from careless hands and prying eyes. For the chosen ones, this practice is vital, because not everyone will understand or embrace your journey. Have you ever wondered why your experiences resonate deeply within you, but seem incomprehensible to others? Silence is the bridge that helps you maintain focus while shielding your mind and spirit from the noise of external influences. Consider the times you've shared an idea, a dream, or a spiritual experience, only to be met with disbelief, skepticism, or even envy. How did those reactions affect you? Perhaps they hurt, left you discouraged, or even caused you to question your path. When you choose silence, you protect yourself from these negative responses. Silence isn't about hiding, it's about creating a barrier that preserves your energy, focus, and mission. It prevents the contamination of your spirit by opinions that don't align with your purpose. The Bible provides a striking example in the story of Joseph, the son of Jacob. Joseph shared his dreams with his brothers, but instead of support, He was met with envy so intense that they sold him into slavery. While God ultimately used that betrayal to fulfill a greater plan, Joseph's initial suffering might have been avoided if he had exercised more discretion. What might have changed if Joseph had kept his dreams close to his heart? Another profound example comes from the life of Jesus. When faced with accusations and judgment, particularly during his trial before Pilate, Jesus often chose silence instead of defending himself. This silence wasn't weakness, it was strength, a deep understanding of his divine mission and complete trust in God's plan. Imagine the power it takes to stay silent when the world demands you speak. Could it be that silence in moments of trial reflects a confidence that words cannot capture? In our lives, how often do we face similar situations? Think of a time when you shared your dreams with someone who wasn't aligned with your vision. Maybe their doubtful expressions or dismissive comments planted seeds of uncertainty within you. How did their reactions make you feel? Did they cause you to question what you once believed so strongly? Silence in these moments becomes a form of protection. It allows you to nurture your ideas and experiences without interference, giving them the space they need to grow and mature. Let's imagine a practical scenario. You're working on a deeply personal and meaningful project, something that requires your full creativity and energy. Now, if you begin sharing this project with others, you open yourself up to opinions, some well-meaning, others critical, that can cloud your vision. What if someone tells you your idea is unrealistic? What if another insists you're going about it the wrong way? Even if you start with confidence, these voices can sow doubt, shaking the foundation of your belief. By keeping silent, you shield your vision from premature criticism, allowing it to take shape free from the weight of external judgment. Silence is like planting a seed in the earth. A farmer doesn't dig up the seed daily to show others its progress. Instead, they protect it, water it, and give it time to grow in secret. Similarly, your dreams, ideas, and spiritual insights need that same quiet space to flourish. When the time is right and your vision is fully realized, you'll have the strength and clarity to share it in a way that inspires and transforms others. How different would your journey feel if you trusted the timing and allowed silence to be your ally? Ultimately, silence is not a void, but a sanctuary. It's the place where your soul finds refuge, where your dreams are nourished, and where your connection to the divine becomes unshakable. The book of Ecclesiastes reminds us, there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Ecclesiastes 3:7. In moments of silence, you prepare for the moments when your voice will carry the greatest impact. Could it be that by embracing silence, you are not withdrawing from the world but readying yourself to shape it? Another profound reason to embrace silence is to shield yourself from the distractions and confusion that arise when you share your spiritual journey with the world. Consider how quickly focus can waver when you open the door to a flood of opinions about what you should or should not do. Silence serves as a lighthouse in the fog, its steady beam cutting through the chaos, guiding you toward what truly matters. Without it, the voices of others, no matter how well-intentioned, can cloud your vision, steering you away from your purpose and inner truth. Each person you encounter carries their own perspectives, experiences, and advice, often given with the belief that their input is essential. While some of these insights may offer value, others create a cacophony of conflicting voices. This is like navigating a stormy sea where the waves of opinions rise and crash against your vessel, threatening to send it off course. In such moments, silence becomes your refuge, your compass, and your anchor. It grounds you in your convictions and prevents you from being swept away by external forces. Practicing silence doesn't mean isolating yourself completely. It means being discerning about what and with whom you share. Imagine you have embarked on a spiritual journey that feels deeply personal and transformative. If you share this path prematurely with too many people, you might encounter a mix of reactions. Some might celebrate your decision, but others might express doubt, skepticism, or even criticism. Such responses, while often rooted in their own fears or misunderstandings, can seep into your mind and heart, creating uncertainty where there once was clarity. By choosing silence, you preserve the sanctity of your journey, allowing it to flourish without interference. The Bible offers us a powerful example in Nehemiah, a man tasked by God to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. When he first received this divine mission, Nehemiah chose to keep his plans hidden. "I had not told anyone what my God had put in my heart to do for Jerusalem." Nehemiah 2:12. This period of strategic silence gave him the time and space to prepare, seek God's guidance, and build a firm foundation for his actions. Had he shared his plans too soon, he risked facing unnecessary criticism and opposition that could have derailed his mission. Only when the time was right, when his resolve was unshakable and his strategy clear, did Nehemiah reveal his purpose to others, ensuring the mission's success. This example teaches us the value of silence as a tool of protection and preparation. When you guard your dreams and spiritual experiences with discretion, you allow them to take root and grow strong. Silence is not an act of weakness, but a sign of wisdom, recognizing that not everyone will understand or support your journey. It gives you the strength to focus on your purpose without being distracted by the noise around you. Now ask yourself, are there moments in your life when speaking too soon caused unnecessary detours? Have you ever felt the weight of others' opinions pulling you away from what you knew to be right in your heart? Silence in such instances is not avoidance. It is alignment. It aligns your actions with God's timing, allowing His purpose for you to unfold without interruption. Like Nehemiah, you too can harness the power of silence to guard your path. Let your lighthouse of silence guide you through the storm, keeping you steady and focused on the harbor of your inner wisdom. And when the time comes to speak or act, you will do so with confidence, clarity, and divine assurance. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is the fertile ground where thoughts and experiences are given the space to flourish. When you choose not to rush into sharing, you allow your reflections to ripen, gaining depth and clarity. Consider the way a seedling grows. A farmer doesn't expose the delicate sprout to the harsh elements too soon. Instead, it is nurtured quietly, away from prying eyes. Your ideas and spiritual experiences require the same care. Shielded by silence, they develop into something far more profound and enduring. Then, when the right moment comes to speak, your words will resonate with authenticity, carrying the power to inspire and uplift, because they are rooted in careful contemplation and genuine insight. But silence offers more than depth. It is also a shield. When you share your spiritual victories or future aspirations too quickly, you risk drawing the attention of those who may not have your best interests at heart. Envy, jealousy, and malice are real forces that can threaten to destabilize even the most heartfelt intentions. Like a storm that uproots a young tree not yet anchored in the soil, these negative energies can disrupt your progress. Yet, by practicing silence, you protect what is sacred within you. Imagine a sapling growing strong in a hidden grove. Shielded from the elements, its roots sink deep into the nourishing earth, unseen but vital. In the same way, your spiritual journey and personal triumphs need time to establish themselves in the quiet. By keeping them private, you grant them the strength to withstand external pressures. When the moment finally arrives to reveal what you have built, you do so with confidence, knowing that your foundation is unshakable, your progress resilient against the storms of life. Furthermore, Silence provides an essential safeguard against external validation. In today's world, the temptation to seek approval and recognition from others is constant. Social media and public platforms often amplify this desire, encouraging us to announce every success or aspiration. However, true spiritual growth isn't about applause. It's about alignment with yourself, your values, and God. Silence keeps your focus inward, where your relationship with the divine is cultivated in purity, free from distraction. The Bible offers a powerful example of this principle in the story of Nehemiah. When God placed it on Nehemiah's heart to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he didn't immediately share his plans with others. Instead, he prayed, prepared, and acted with careful deliberation. His initial silence was not a sign of hesitation, but of wisdom. By keeping his mission private until the right moment, Nehemiah avoided interference and ensured his work could proceed unimpeded. His story reminds us that silence is often the first step towards success, allowing us to align with God's timing and purpose. Have you ever paused to wonder if your own victories need the same silent care? Are there moments when rushing to share has left you feeling exposed or uncertain? Silence is a discipline that asks for patience, but its rewards are immeasurable. It not only protects, but also strengthens. It teaches us to cherish what is sacred, to honor God's timing, and to prepare ourselves so that when we do speak, our words are laden with wisdom and truth. Let silence be your ally. Use it to deepen your understanding, protect your progress, and nurture humility. When the time comes to share, let your words be a reflection of a heart that has listened intently to the voice of God and a spirit that has grown resilient in His care. Until then, rest in the knowledge that silence is not a void, but a sacred space where the seeds of your soul are given the grace to flourish. Silence not only serves as protection, but also as a way to preserve humility. By avoiding the search for external validation, you prevent the ego from dominating your journey. It is easy to get lost in praise and in others' expectations, but silence keeps your focus on what truly matters, your inner development and connection with the divine. Humility is a rare virtue, especially in a world that values public recognition and others' approval so much. However, true spiritual growth is not fed by applause. It flourishes in tranquility, in silence, away from others' eyes. It is in this silent space that you can deeply connect with God, hear His voice, and follow His guidance. Keeping silent also helps cultivate inner peace. Imagine yourself in a calm place where you can hear the soft sounds of nature around you. This place is silence, where you can find the tranquility and clarity necessary to continue your spiritual journey in a firm and serene manner. Silence is like a refuge, a sanctuary where you can retreat when the outside world becomes chaotic and oppressive. It is in this sanctuary that you can regain your strength, perspective, and peace. Each moment of silence is an opportunity to reconnect with your essence, to realign your spirit with the divine, and to find clarity amidst the confusion. Moreover, silence allows you to develop greater spiritual sensitivity. When you are silent, your inner senses become sharper, allowing you to perceive signs and intuitions that would normally go unnoticed. It is in this state of quietness that you can receive deeper revelations and access higher levels of consciousness. Many great spiritual masters teach that silence is the path to true wisdom. When you silence yourself, not just externally, but also internally, you create space for divine wisdom to flow through you. It is as if silence is a channel that allows spiritual knowledge, which is beyond words, to reveal itself to you. Another reason to maintain silence is the power it has to strengthen your faith. By avoiding sharing your spiritual experiences and challenges with others, you are forced to trust more in God and the guidance He is giving you. This act of trusting and depending on the divine in silence strengthens your spiritual connection, making you more resilient in the face of adversity. Faith is not something that is built with words, but with silent actions and internal decisions. When you face spiritual challenges, silence allows you to go deeper into your trust in God. It is an act of surrender where you choose to trust His plan, even when you don't fully understand what is happening. It is in this space of silence and trust that faith grows, blossoming into something unshakable. Silence also protects you from negative energies and spiritual attacks. When you keep your intentions and spiritual experiences secret, you create an invisible barrier against those who might want to divert you from your path or weaken your faith. It is like putting protective armor around your soul, ensuring that you remain firm and unshakable in your journey. In many spiritual traditions, silence is seen as a form of purification. By silencing yourself, you protect not only from external attacks, but also from your own negative and self-sabotaging thoughts. It is like cleaning the mind and heart, removing any residue of doubt, fear, or mistrust. In this purified state, you become more receptive to divine guidance and more capable of following your path with courage and determination. Finally, silence is a profound way of honoring divine timing. It reflects trust in the wisdom of God, acknowledging that not everything is meant to be shared or revealed immediately. Just as seeds need time to grow beneath the soil before breaking through the surface, so too do our thoughts, experiences, and revelations require a period of quiet nurturing. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." Silence becomes the means through which we respect the sacred rhythm of this timing. When we are quick to share, we may unknowingly disrupt the natural process of spiritual growth. Have you ever revealed an idea or dream too early, only to feel it lose its momentum or significance? Rushing to speak or act can sometimes place us out of alignment with God's plan. Silence allows the fullness of His purpose to unfold. It is in the stillness that we gain clarity, strength, and readiness for what lies ahead. Consider Mary, the mother of Jesus. After the angel Gabriel announced that she would conceive the Savior, she did not rush to proclaim the news to the world. Instead, Scripture tells us that she treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Luke 2:19. Her silence was not one of hesitation, but of reverence, allowing her to reflect deeply on the divine mystery unfolding within her. By choosing silence, she aligned herself with God's timing, revealing the power of her testimony only when the moment was right. Silence also creates the space to hear God's guidance clearly. When we fill our days with constant speaking or sharing, it becomes harder to discern His voice. Could it be that God is asking you to pause, to be still, and to wait for His perfect moment? Isaiah 30:15 declares, "In quietness and confidence shall be your strength." This quiet confidence is what allows us to remain steadfast, even when others urge us to speak or act prematurely. Moreover, when the right time comes to share, the impact of your words is magnified. Think of Jesus during His ministry. He often instructed those He healed not to tell others immediately, waiting for the appointed time to reveal His glory. In John 7:6, Jesus said, "My time has not yet come." His life was a demonstration of patience and trust in the Father's plan. How much more should we, as His followers, strive to wait on His timing in our own lives? Practicing silence in this way does not mean suppressing your voice forever. Instead, it is a way of safeguarding the sacred and honoring the unfolding of God's will. When the time comes to speak, your words will carry the weight of divine purpose. They will resonate not because they were spoken hastily, but because they were birthed from a season of prayerful silence and reflection. Now, you may be wondering, How can an ordinary person, someone with a job, a family, and 1,000 responsibilities, practice the virtue of silence? It's a fair question. After all, your spouse or loved ones might not take kindly to you communicating solely through gestures like a monk, but practicing silence for those living in the world looks very different from the way a religious hermit might approach it. It's not about withdrawing completely from communication, but about cultivating intentionality and restraint in your words. And though the path may seem challenging, it is not only possible, but deeply rewarding. Let's begin with a simple step. Avoid idle conversations. Proverbs reminds us, "In the multitude of words sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise." Proverbs 10:19. Talking just for the sake of talking often leads to gossip, misunderstanding, or wasted energy. Social media has amplified this tendency, making it easy to post complaints, cryptic messages begging for attention, or impulsive comments about trivial matters. How often do we see people airing grievances online, sharing every fleeting thought? Before speaking or typing, ask yourself, is this necessary? Will it help someone or glorify God? If not, resist the urge. Use your words intentionally, whether spoken or written, so they build up rather than tear down. Next, silence can be practiced by resisting the urge to complain. Complaining is the antithesis of gratitude. Philippians 2:14 instructs, "Do all things without grumbling or disputing." Yet, how often do we grumble about the weather, slow traffic, or a meal that doesn't suit our taste? Complaining rarely changes circumstances, but it does rob us of peace and joy. Instead of vocalizing dissatisfaction, pause and reflect on the blessings you might be overlooking. Could you transform your complaints into gratitude? Restraining your tongue in moments of frustration is a form of discipline that shifts your perspective and strengthens your spirit. A third way to embrace silence is by refraining from sharing opinions on every topic. In today's age of instant reactions, every crisis, whether local or global, seems to demand our commentary. But how often do we truly understand the complexities of the events we discuss? Ecclesiastes 5:2 advises, "Do not be quick with your mouth. Do not be hasty in your heart to utter anything before God. God is in heaven, and you are on earth. So let your words be few." Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is listen, reflect, and pray, instead of rushing to speak. By keeping your opinions to yourself, you demonstrate humility and a willingness to learn rather than contribute to the noise of speculation. Another practical way to cultivate silence is to resist filling every quiet moment with noise. The world today is saturated with constant sound, music, podcasts, television, and the endless buzz of notifications. But what if, while driving, you left the radio off? What if you allowed yourself to stand in line or ride the elevator without checking your phone? In those small pockets of silence, you create space for reflection, prayer, or simply resting your mind. Could it be that the very moments we instinctively fill with distraction are opportunities for God to speak to us? Lastly, silence becomes a virtue when we resist the temptation to criticize others. As James warns, the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. It defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire by hell. James 3:6. Criticism, whether truthful or not, often stems from pride, a desire to feel superior by pointing out someone else's flaws. How often have we harmed others with a thoughtless comment, tarnishing reputations or causing pain? Instead, choose to remain silent. This discipline not only protects others, but also refines your heart, making you more compassionate and Christ-like. Imagine the strength it takes to hold back words that serve no good purpose. Could this be the kind of strength God is calling you to cultivate? Though we are not cloistered monks, we are called to practice silence in our daily lives. It is not about isolation, but about creating moments of stillness to better hear the voice of Christ. In those quiet spaces, you can deepen your relationship with Him, reflect on His word, and allow His presence to guide your thoughts and actions. Remember, even Jesus withdrew to silent places to pray and seek the Father's will. If the Son of God valued silence, how much more should we? Silence is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of intentionality. It's the restraint of the tongue and the opening of the heart. What might you discover about yourself and God if you embrace silence today? Therefore, my friends, perhaps what most frightens the chosen ones in silence is the very act of confronting their own thoughts. When you retreat into quietness, you open the door to a whirlwind of thoughts that have been lurking in the corners of your mind. Your anxieties, your unspoken desires, your hidden pains, and the challenges that weigh heavy on your soul. Everything that has been buried beneath the surface begins to rise, filling your consciousness with discomfort and restlessness. There is a natural fear in this confrontation, the fear of facing the complexities of your own heart. The battle within can feel overwhelming, and that's why so many seek to fill the silence, drowning their own thoughts with external noise. When you're alone in your car, the radio is turned on without a second thought. At home, the TV is on constantly, not for the sake of watching, but to create a soundtrack that shields you from the discomfort of stillness. Even during brief pauses, at work, in a line, or in a waiting room, you instinctively reach for your phone, as if any distraction is better than facing the quiet within. You might wonder why the silence is so unsettling. It's because it forces you to turn inward, to examine the parts of yourself that you might rather ignore. Yet, it is precisely in this silence, as uncomfortable as it may be, that you can find true peace and clarity. Silence, though it challenges you to confront your inner shadows, also offers you the opportunity to connect with the deepest part of your essence. In the stillness, you can hear the divine voice that calls you to rise above the noise of the world, guiding you towards spiritual growth. Silence is not just a place of retreat. It is an arena for courage and self-awareness, where you can confront your vulnerabilities, embrace your complexities, and ultimately strengthen your soul. For the chosen ones, this is how spiritual resilience is cultivated, through the embrace of silence and the wisdom that emerges from it. Silence is not only important, it is essential. You see, after the fall, our intellects were wounded and weakened. Before that, communion with God, our Creator, was effortless, as natural as seeing or hearing. There was a constant awareness of His presence, and we were in perfect harmony with the divine. But sin disrupted that communion, clouding our ability to connect with God at the deepest level of our being. Now, in the aftermath of this separation, we live amidst a storm of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, an ever-whirling cloud of confusion and distraction, much like mosquitoes swirling in the heat of a summer night. The task of calming this storm within us is incredibly challenging. Yet, the only way to do it is to confront it directly. And this confrontation, as daunting as it is, can only occur when we retreat into silence long enough to recognize just how disturbed our souls truly are. While this confrontation is frightening for many, it is crucial for the spiritual progress of the chosen ones. Now, I want to ask you, are you the type of person who shares your thoughts freely, or do you prefer to keep certain things to yourself? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share your experience. If you're still watching, I want to take a moment to thank you for your presence here. Your support means more than you know, and I encourage you to subscribe for more content like this. Let's continue to journey together on this path of self-discovery and spiritual growth. Remember, silence can be your greatest ally. It is in silence that you will discover your truest self and hear the divine guidance that leads you toward fulfillment and purpose. As we close today's reflection, I want you to take a moment and think about where you are right now. Are you standing on the edge of something unknown, unsure of what comes next, yet feeling a quiet whisper deep in your soul that tells you this is exactly where you are meant to be? Do you find yourself in the midst of trials, struggles, or moments of doubt, yet still knowing in your heart that there is a greater purpose unfolding just beyond the horizon? That is the experience of the chosen ones. So, what comes next for you? I believe the next step is to fully embrace the journey, trusting that even in the silence and the struggles, you are being shaped for greatness. The chosen ones are never abandoned. They are strengthened, refined, and prepared for the remarkable purposes God has for them. You may not know every detail of what the future holds, but you can trust that God's timing and plans are perfect. As you move forward, ask yourself, are you ready to embrace the unknown? Are you ready to step into the next chapter, even if you can't see the full picture just yet? The road ahead may be challenging, but remember that every step you take is a step closer to the purpose you were chosen for. Trust in God's plan, walk in faith, and know that what's coming next is worth every moment of the journey. If you are still here, I want to thank you for staying with me. Your presence in this moment is not by accident, and I believe God is preparing something extraordinary for you. So, I leave you with this question. What is God calling you to do next? Whatever it is, trust that He has already equipped you with everything you need to walk in His purpose. Until next time, remember, you are chosen, and what comes next is part of His perfect plan.